Hey guys, welcome back to the Chelsweets kitchen. I've been asked a lot how I bake my cake layers so flat, and the answer is just the cake recipe that I use. So I'm going to take you guys in depth through the steps I use to make my cake batter and also how I line my pans. So that way you guys can make your cake layers exactly the same. So today we're going to be putting a little bit of spin on our cake batter, and we're going to be making a tie-dye cake batter just to mix things up. So I have here all of my ingredients that I'm using, and this is also the simplest cake recipe. You can do it all in one bowl, and there's only 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 ingredients, and most of them I think everyone has in their pantry, or at least people that like to bake. So you can see I just use classic all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, carton of egg whites, some buttermilk, canola oil. I like to use the Whole Foods brand of butter. I use vanilla extract, salt, and a little bit of baking powder. So I first mix together all of my dry ingredients in my mixer. I then add in butter and add in the wet ingredients one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how it all comes together, and then we'll start lining our pans.
We're going to begin by adding our dry ingredients together. We're going to add our flour, sugar, salt, and baking powder. We're going to mix those on a low speed until they're fully incorporated together. Next, we're going to add in our butter. It's very important that your butter is at room temperature and that you gradually add it to your dry ingredients. Next, we're going to add in our wet ingredients one at a time. We're going to start with 1 cup of egg whites, and we're going to thoroughly mix it before we add in our buttermilk. We're going to add 1.5 cups of buttermilk and then mix again. At this point in the process, I always like to scrape down the sides of my bowl. The last step is to add in our oil and our vanilla. I usually mix them together in a cup and then pour them into the batter. We also then are going to scrape down the sides of our bowl one more time.
So now that our cake batter is made, we still need to color it and line our pan. So it's going to take a while to get everything colored and ready to go. So this is the point in time when I'm going to turn on my oven. So we're going to preheat it to 350 degrees, and if you're not doing this step, make sure your oven is fully heated before you put your cake layers into it. So to line our pans, we're going to take some parchment paper, and I like to just cut it just the width of my pan. So we're going to do this 4 times, and then we're going to do a little trick to perfectly line the base of the cake pan. Alright, so now that we have our sheets all cut, I like to make sure they're level. I then fold them in half, and then we're going to fold it one more time here into quarters. Make sure it's nice and lined up. And then I like to take a cake pan, flip it over, and these are 7-inch cake pans that are 2 inches deep. So we're going to go ahead and put this right in the center here, and we're going to take our scissors and just cut right along the rim of the cake pan. Alright, then I always like to test just to make sure that they fit. Let's see. And that looks perfect. So we're going to go ahead and lay these out in all 4 pans. We're then going to spray it with some non-stick cooking spray, and I use the canola oil kind. When I spray my pans, I like to just go kind of around the ring because you know that the base of the cake layer isn't going to stick because you have your parchment paper there. So we're going to set these aside now, and we're going to go ahead and start coloring our cake batter.
So I've divided my batter between 5 bowls evenly, and we're going to be using gel food coloring to color each bowl a different color. We're then going to place scoops of each batter into the pans at random. And this doesn't have to be perfect because they're all going to be swirled together in a minute once we're done filling the pans. Once you've used up all of your batter, you can take a knife or an offset spatula and swirl it around through your batter a few times.
So we're going to pop these into the oven at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. To see this cake fully decorated or to see any of my other cake creations, you can follow me on Instagram at Chelsweets. This cake is actually going to be used in a live stream on Food Network later this week, so I'll include the link below so you guys can see how it turns out. Thanks so much. Hope to see you guys again soon.